welcome back to our class. Yesterday we started our lesson about separating insoluble solids from a liquid. So let's review the vocabulary that you have to understand. We have decantation, pour out, insoluble, soluble, filter, filter paper, filtration, residue, filtrates, sewage, precipitation, alum, and evaporation. Okay, so yesterday we were already familiar up to alum. Okay, so for today we're going to study about evaporation. Okay, but in Pratom 5 you are already familiar with evaporation as a process in changing liquid into gas. Okay, so let's go back to your student book. Okay, yesterday we studied about decantation. Okay, Teacher Maria said that it's the process where you pour out the liquid from the insoluble solid. Okay, an example is when you wash rice, you remove the liquid, you pour out the liquid. Okay, and then this is filter paper. Next week I'm going to show you, I told you yesterday, I'm going to demonstrate to you this processes of separation. Okay, separation of mixtures. Okay, and then filtration. Okay, so this is the setup of filtration. So if you put the filter paper in here, you can separate the solids from the liquid. Okay, and the solids that will be left in the filter paper are called residue. Okay, and the liquid that passed through, it's called filtrate. Okay, and then an example of using filtration. Okay, so the sewage treatment plants, they use filter. Okay, and then this one, surgical mask or any mask, they can filter out the dust. Okay, and then when you brew coffee, okay, you use filter paper. Okay, and precipitation. Okay, precipitation is when you add a substance, it's called alum. Okay, so that you can separate the insoluble solids from the liquid. Okay, yesterday we studied about this process already. So the raw water passes through a filter, and then it will undergo a filtration, precipitation, and then filter again. It will filter, and then disinfection, and then it can be used, okay, in our house. So for today we're going to study about evaporation. Okay, evaporation is a technique, separation technique, that we can use if we want to separate soluble solids from a liquid. Okay, yesterday it's insoluble. Okay, but when you say soluble, these are solids that if you mix with liquid, they will dissolve. Okay, for example, salt. Okay, so if you mix salt with water, the salt will dissolve in water. You cannot see the salt anymore. Okay, and also sugar. Okay, so if you mix sugar in the water, the sugar will dissolve, so you cannot see the sugar anymore in the solution. Okay, so this one, evaporation has been used to obtain salt from seawater. Okay, evaporation, if you let the water, okay, in Pratom 5 we already studied about evaporation. This is the process when liquid changes to gas. Okay, when liquid changes into gas, so when water changes into gas, evaporate in the air, you will be left with the solid. Okay, you will be left with the solid. So this one, it's a salt farm in Pechaburi, okay, province. It's a picture of a salt farm. So the water from the sea, okay, so they use sea water, and then they use the water from the sea, and they let the water to evaporate. So when the water evaporates, they will be left with the salt. Okay, so this process, you can separate soluble solids from a liquid. Okay, so let's answer this one. Which of the following mixture can be separated using a filter? Okay, if you can remember, which of the following mixture can be separated using a filter? Okay, a mixture of water and tea leaves. Yes, water and tea leaves. This is liquid and a solid that does not dissolve. This is insoluble salt. So letter A is correct, right? Okay, letter B, a mixture of water and sugar. When you mix water and sugar, the sugar will dissolve. So you cannot use a filter to separate. B is not correct. Letter C, a mixture of water and oil. Okay, water and oil, they are both liquid. You cannot use a filter to separate them. And letter D, a mixture of dust, particles, and oxygen. Okay, so this is when we use a surgical mask, you can separate the dust from the oxygen gas. So here, the answer is A and D. Okay, number 2, which of the following mixtures can be separated by evaporation? Okay, what's the following can be evaporation? Okay, it's the process when liquid evaporates. Okay, so a mixture of rock and soil. Rocks and soil, there's no liquid. It's not correct. Letter B, a mixture of water and sea salt. Okay, so this is correct. Letter B, you can separate the water from the sea salt through evaporation. So letter B. And then letter C, a mixture of sand and iodine crystals. Iodine crystal is a substance that sublimate. Okay, so this is not the correct one. Letter C, water soluble couple separate and water. So what do you think is the correct answer? Letter D, water soluble copper sulfate. So it means copper sulfate is a solid that is soluble, that dissolve in water. Okay, so let's move on. This one, these are activities. We're going to discuss some of these activities next week. Okay, so for today, your homework is a workbook, page 19 and 20. Okay, it's on your workbook, page 19 and 20. It's challenge yourself. Okay, let's discuss. It says Chan has 3 cups of water. 1, 2, 3 cups. He adds different amounts of sugar. He adds different amounts of sugar, not the same, okay? And then he lets Ning guess which mixture is the sweetest without her tasting. Ning pours the same amount of mixture into the different evaporating dishes. She then places the evaporating dishes under the sun, okay? After all the water has dried up, she measured the mass of the substance left in each of the dishes. Okay, so Ning pours the mixture in these dishes. Okay, they are not the same size as well. This one is smaller, okay, compared to this two. So she measured. Okay, it's on the next page. Okay, so she measured the amount of a substance left. Okay, so in this dish 1, there's 50 grams of the substance left. In dish 2, there's 10 grams, and in dish 3, there's 5 grams. Okay, so let's go back to the number 1, letter A. Okay, so letter A, the question is predict which mixture will take the longest time to dry up. Explain your answer. Okay, so which mixture do you think will take the longest time, long time to dry up? Okay, you remember they have the same amount of water but different amount of sugar, and then the dish different sizes. Okay, so this one is smaller, these are bigger. So which mixture do you think will take the longest time to dry up? Okay, you predict your answer and you explain why you answered that mixture. Okay, and then letter B, what substance will be left on all the evaporating dishes after all the water has evaporated? What will be left in the dish after all the water has evaporated? It's easy. And number 2, which mixture is the sweetest? explain your answer. Which do you think, mixture 1, mixture 2, or mixture 3 will be the sweetest? Okay, so explain your answer. Okay, so for today you have to answer workbook page 19 and 20. Okay, I hope you try to answer this. Okay, and then next week I'm going to show you, demonstrate to you some of the separation techniques, and then next week as well you're going to make a video about separation techniques. Okay, I'm going to explain next week. Okay, bye.